Hey guys, welcome to Kerbal Space Program. Decided that I'd go ahead and start a series on this. I'm usually pretty late to the game when it comes to picking up games before they're really popular, and there are 500,000 different Let's Play series on them. And I don't think this one's all that much different, but this game actually isn't released yet in the sense of having like a full version of the game. You can pay right now $15 will get you a really cool demo version of the game that involves you can make rocket ships and space planes, and it starts tracking all the pieces in real time. So if you have multiple launches out, those will stay persistent in the world, which is really cool. But I think the coolest thing about this game is you design and fly your own rockets and space planes, and you have a whole lot of parts in it. The part system kind of reminds me a lot of Spore, and I'm wondering if they didn't draw at least some inspiration from that. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and I guess I'll just show you a few of the designs that I've been working on, and you guys can laugh while I fail at flying them. So we'll go ahead and start the game. This is that tracking center where you can kind of see all the different kinds of things. For example, I have debris from one of the failed attempts I have at flying something. So this is a pretty big little solar system they've got. This is the smallest moon that you can fly to. It's very far away. Most people have already reached the moon. I haven't. To be honest, I haven't even gotten a rocket that's made it into orbit yet. Almost, but not quite. And it definitely wouldn't get to the moon, nor would I be able to land it. So this is kind of where you start off. Looks a lot like Africa. I don't know if that was intentional or not. But what we'll go ahead and get started is I will fly some of these planes for you. Now, I've started this one. And this is one of my favorites simply because it's a single engine craft, and it comes with I think it's 6 different wings. It's the weirdest looking thing, but it flies shockingly well, and I'm wondering if it's not just glitches in the physics system that even make this kind of a design possible. So I'll go ahead and start the engine there, and I'll throttle up to 100%, and you'll see that it'll take off like immediately. I'm not even holding anything right now, and I should, otherwise I'll start to tip over. The G key lifts up the landing gear, and it's actually just really fun to fly around in this game. Something you might notice is that when you're flying and you start making a turn, it actually doesn't follow your craft. You actually have to click with the mouse, with the right and left mouse buttons, and kind of drag the camera around. So it actually makes it really aggravating to fly these things. Hopefully in the next version they'll go ahead and fix that, but for right now this is kind of the best you're going to get. It's really fun. It can be frustrating, but it's normally really fun to go ahead and start flying different making new configurations and just seeing what works and what doesn't. Where it starts to get frustrating is where you'll try for hours on end and it just kind of won't work for some reason. And some of it is a little bit of glitching on the part of the developers, just because this is a game that's pretty much in alpha right now. I think the version's like 0.15.2, so it's really early in development, but they're nice enough to follow a kind of Minecraft style development cycle. So you'll notice a lot of gauges going on here. There's a fuel gauge. I've got Malvis, Nielzel, and Billen Kerman. Originally, and if you get the demo version of this, you'll only see a few different guys, and they'll be the same. And I kind of miss them and wish you could pick them, because I probably would just pick them because there's something just fun about them. So now that I'm heading back around to the launch area, I'm going to throttle all the way down, And the reason that I'm doing this is because this has such a low rotation speed because of the incredible amounts of lift that it generates. I can actually be going incredibly slow and it'll still stay in the air. In fact, if I hit the ground going any faster than about 20 meters per second, I'm probably going to start going out of control and crashing. And hopefully on video for you guys, I can land this thing pretty well. Gear out would probably be helpful. So yeah, I'm just trying to speed it up a little bit for you guys because it does get rather slow. And it's always easy to find your orientation with this craft because you can kind of see the landing gear. It kind of helps you orient you. And I'm about to hit the runway now. And I made this available for download on the official forums. It's made with all stock parts too, so you don't need any of the mods available for the game to actually fly this. But there are a lot of really cool mods out there that let you do a lot of really interesting things that either are not or will not be possible with the final version of the game. I've even seen like an aircraft that literally unfolds itself from like a box-like configuration, and it has like vertical takeoff and landing. There's really crazy, awesome stuff that I couldn't even begin to make, but I was actually really happy when I made this. It's just a really cool little plane that I like to fly around. Uses almost a quarter of the fuel just flying around the one-way, so fuel efficiency is definitely not the first thing these, I guess the developers really had in mind with these, but that could always be subject to change in later versions. So I'm going to pull back here a little bit, burn off some speed, and I got plenty of room here. I'm going to go ahead and let go of the stick soon and see what happens. Oh, nice. And I'm just tapping on the brakes key, that's the B key. And yeah, we touch down onto the back. Now if you touch down too hard, it's going to snap off both the wheel and the engine. And you can right click on the engine and you can see that's at 1.0 efficiency. As you climb into the higher layers of the atmosphere, as indicated by the atmosphere gauge on the top, an engine like this will get much less efficient. So I'll go ahead and I'll turn off the engine, and I'll go ahead and get out of this mode, and I'll end the flight. Pretty uneventful, but it'll tell you mission time, all cool little statistics about it. And I'll go ahead and go back to the space plane hangar, and it'll kind of show you, kind of like the interface and stuff. This is, your fuel intake, a cockpit section. That's usually what you'll pick first. And I added this, it's called an SAS module. And what that does is it kind of functions like an autopilot or auto stabilizer. It doesn't take commands to like get you places yet. However, it does allow you to go ahead and kind of prevent you from having to hold on to your control stick or the arrow keys. I choose to fly with a stick for these kinds of flights, but I typically will use the keyboard for the rocket launches simply because you only really want to be going up, and if you're not, there's a problem. So yeah, this is kind of one of my favorite designs that I made. Very simple, easy to make. I'll load up another version, the Dart that I made. Also very simple craft. Pretty easy to get it up into the air. It's a little bit harder to land, just because I think it has a higher stall speed. But again, I'll go ahead and fly this one, kind of show you the basics. I don't know if you guys like watching building or whatnot, but you can always let me know in the comments, and maybe I'll include you guys in some of that process. But for right now, I figure just kind of showing off what the game can do and whatnot. It's really, really jumpy because it's a very small plane, but this one can go at a pretty fast pace. I also, if you use the yaw change, you'll see it on the bottom left-hand corner. If you had fins, and that's really the coolest thing. Not fins, I'm sorry. The control surfaces. You can actually control where they go, and for better or worse, what this could end up doing is there tends to be a glitch sometimes where the control surfaces can fight each other, which usually leads to hilarious consequences. What I'll do in this one is I'll try to land it, and after I land it, I'll take off and I'll crash so I can show you guys the cool damage that they have. You know, pieces of your plane can just like fly off, and it's an awesome game. Yeah, I think I've maxed out as far as my speed's gonna go. Fuel consumption, I guess, isn't too terrible, but you're probably not going to be flying around the whole world, which is probably true of most craft like this. And I am also kind of cruising at, with max throttle. Probably wouldn't normally be doing that, but this looks like a small, little under-the-radar strike craft. It'd be pretty interesting if there was a mod out there that lets you have guns or something, and if there's multiplayer persistence, having dogfights, that would be incredibly cool. But like I said, this really isn't the main point of the game. The whole point of the game really is to get into space, and after that, do lunar landings, and they're going to be implementing a lot of really cool stuff to that end. For example, they're going to be potentially adding ways to reach other planets, and make, like, for example, you could have like a space station or like a station that's landed on the moon that can help you kind of like piggyback over to like another planet if they make one. Or I mean, the limits really are, it's endless. And from my IL-2 Sturmovik videos, that I really love flight sims. So other than this kind of aggravating camera situation, this is just really fun. I'm going to go ahead and throttle all the way down now so that I can hopefully not overshoot the runway horribly and die a fiery death, or at least our little Kerman friends don't end up like that. I think I'm already kind of screwed. The practice in IL-2 with landing and all those other kinds of things is really incredibly helpful here. Yeah, it's already starting to get a little jaunty, but we did it. We landed, and now for fun, I'll turn that SAS on. I think this one doesn't even have one of those. But yeah, look, a minute problem will... Actually, I'm surprised. This thing is actually kind of hard to crash into the ground, but we'll get it to happen. Don't worry. I'll try landing without the gear on the grass, and I'll see if you guys can see some of the interesting physics. No, not like that. Oh well. And as you can see, well, as if this hadn't happened, you would have seen the tail fin will fly off, and if it lands and doesn't get destroyed, it'll stay there forever, really. And it'll tell you everything that happened that was bad, and everybody gets killed, and yeah, it's a terrible thing. But this is a really, really cool game. The vehicle assembly building lets you build basically vertically, whereas this will let you build horizontally. And one of the whole points that they had in making some of these planes in the space plane hangar is that you could attach those parts, like those airplanes that I made, and you can strap those onto a rocket so that you can make kind of like a space shuttle, so that you don't have to just land like a parachute landing like they did way back in the 60s and 70s. So hopefully you guys have liked this brief kind of foray into Kerbal Space Program. And if you guys like, maybe we can go ahead and start doing some missions, so to speak. First one will, of course, be getting orbital. That will be my first one. So leave a like if you liked.